Hello, my name is Kelly Terrazas.
My name is Brittany Ann.
And my name is Taylor Laron. And welcome to the Millennial Versus Presents Gen Talk. Join us as we discuss our perspectives on gender norms. So as we're talking about gender norms,
Well, they were
there's
talking
a
about the
question,
post-question.
there's a post
Right.
question in the podcast about from the poll that is about like women proposing.
Yeah.
Women proposing to their partners or women proposing to men or however, because I mean if you're in a same-sex relationship, you're proposing to each other. But if you're talking about like heterosexual relationships, women proposing to men, I personally, for me, this is just for me, I agree that it's your prerogative. You do it it's my prerogative. You do whatever you want to do. As for me in my house, I don't want that. I do not want my girlfriend getting on one knee asking me, will you marry? I don't want her to open up a ring box in front of me and say, will you? I don't care if she has 3 and they are like platinum band. I don't want them.
Oh, I could just see Aubrey doing that though.
I don't think she would. You know she would.
No, she would not.
But I'm saying this, but I wouldn't want it because I would feel robbed of that moment.
Right.
Because and I hate to say it, but in some ways I am old school. I am traditional in some ways. I am old school, and I don't.
You're very romantic too.
And that too.
You're
and I don't
a very
think
romantic
that,
person.
And I don't think that it's a man's job is what a man is supposed to do. But I think that's something I want to do. That is something I am supposed to do. Me,
that's
Taylor.
a way of showing
and I
her
like
that you
to say,
cherish her.
I'm
Right.
a romantic,
You're very romantic.
and I want to be able to plan that moment and have that memory. And I want to get on one knee and do that. I want to be the one to propose. So no, I would not. If Aubrey asked me, will you marry me? I would probably.
What would you say,
I would
Taylor?
say. I would say.
Should be noted she's
This
the
is-
roommate.
I would say, honey, it's so nice that you thought so much to do this, but get up. Get up. Not get up. Let's talk about
That's
this.
not what we do on our knees.
I would say, let's talk. I would say, let's talk about this.
Yeah, no.
And let's pick this up at another time. I'm not saying no, but I am saying not in this way. And I think that's that.
That's a respectful response.
Yeah, I agree with you because I think I wanted my moment. I mean, I got my moment.
Right.
But that's something like I could never see myself getting down on one knee to propose to a man. And it's not because I'm a female. It's not a pride thing. It's because I want to be cherished in that way.
Sure.
You know, and just like you want to show, you know, your girlfriend that if and when you do that, you know, that you want to, that's your way of doing it.
Yeah.
I'm a big romantic softie too. Okay.
Okay. So you
Happy endings. Let's go. Okay. I mean, I'm a writer. I'm a romance writer. I write romantic stories. I'm gonna take my characters through some stuff first. We gonna process some stuff, but you're always gonna have a happy ending. Nicholas Sparks movies, I cry. I know they're so bit, but I love them. But you know, I think every person wants a big moment, and I think for
I don't want
some,
to say every person.
well, some people don't want their moment, and that is their big moment. Is not having a moment, you know. But I think, you know, you want your thing. You don't want your thing.
No. I mean, if a woman wants to propose to their partner, absolutely, you should be allowed. I would, how do I say this without cussing? I would not. No, I'm not going to voluntarily, submit myself to the patriarch. Like, I may have been bred in captivity, but I escaped, and I have no intention of returning.
Right.
And here's the thing. I also think that when it comes down to like women proposing to men, I think there's something to be said about, and this somebody might disagree with me, right? But speaking about traditionally and speaking old school, I think there's something to be said about a man coming to the decision that he wants to marry you and he wants to take that step and not necessarily being the leader.
Okay, but why is him wanting to marry more important than her wanting to marry?
I'm not saying that it's not. I'm saying women know, right? Men don't always know right? And I think you have the prerogative to say yes or no, but I think there's something to be said about a man wanting to take that step. And because you say it's a, you
I've
say
had more
captivity,
men
because
want to
what
marry
I'm,
me than men I
but what
want
I'm
to
saying
marry.
is you're using the word captivity. You're using the word captivity. Is it not captivity for both of
But
them?
if we're going to actual, if we're going to actual old school, marriages were because women could not own property. We were viewed as property.
But I'm not speaking that far back in the old school. I'm talking about the idea of. I'm not speaking about marriage in that context. I'm just talking about the idea of a man proposing. That's all I'm saying. So that's all I'm not going as far as to say she can't handle property and I'm leading the household and she has a role and I have a role.
But those are the origins, and we have to respect the origins.
I don't have to respect the origins if they're just. I don't have to respect those origins of marriage if they're not. Because your marriage is your marriage. Everybody's marriage is that your marriage is your marriage. You have to make whatever works for you work for you. For some people, that works. So when I'm talking about marriage, I'm not speaking in that context, and I'm not taking it that far. I'm just speaking about.
You have to understand that is the origin.
I understand.
It comes from that place.
No, I understand. I understand what you're saying, but that ain't this. Is what I'm saying.
Sure. Okay.
That's all I'm saying. So what I said was, if there's something to be said about a man deciding that he wants to get down on one knee because women mature faster than men. Women know if they want to marry somebody or not. A man, it takes him a little bit longer. There's something to be said about him getting on one knee and saying, "Will you marry me?" Now you have the prerogative to say,
because
yes.
I don't think all women.
You said what?
So I think there's a bias that you have there because I don't think all women are like, yes, I know, I want to marry.
But you know, you don't want to marry somebody, so you know. So you know.
I know at this point in time, that doesn't mean my mind couldn't be changed.
Okay, so if you were with, so that's just what I was speaking about. You know if you're with somebody, whether or not you want to marry them or not, and you know you're sitting right here and saying you don't want to get married at all. But you're also saying that your mind could change. So what I'm saying
so why is that different for a woman and a man?
It's not different. I'm saying exactly what I'm saying. I said what I said. And that's what I said. I said what I said, and that's exactly what I said, but you're saying something the same. We're saying the same thing in two different ways. We're there. So I said what I said, and what I said was what I said, and I'm standing on what I said. And that's the end of that.
And I look pretty. So I was with this man for 3 years, and preface, this is a mortifying story. So anytime we would go to restaurants, he would always tell them that it was my birthday, and so I would get dessert.
I'm sorry.
And and I used to carry like a little fake engagement ring in my wallet for when I would like go out for girls' nights, so I could put it on and someone would leave me alone.
Yeah.
And so we were at dinner, and it was coming to the end, and I was like, I'm going to the bathroom. Don't you dare tell them that it is my birthday. And he was like, I won't, I promise. And I was like, okay.
Have I heard this
And so
before?
you may have, but I think we were both intoxicated at the time. So I went to the bathroom, and I came back out, and the waitress was like bringing up a cheesecake.
Yeah, I've heard this before.
And I was like, okay, really? And so she sets it down and it's got a ring, and he gets down and he gets on one knee, and I was like, oh, okay. So he's not doing the birthday thing. He took my ring out of my wallet, and we're doing this instead. So he does his whole little spiel of I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you and will you marry me, and I thought he was joking. So I was like, oh, you mean like as friends? Yeah, the cheesecake was not for you.
No, I have not heard this. I didn't know it ended like that.
Yeah.
But
he got up and he was a little upset, and then he was like, "Is this real?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "And you've known me for 3 years and thought this was okay?" I was like, no.
No comment. No comment.
But also on the opposite side of the spectrum, you know, you're a woman and you know that you don't, even though you thought that was a joke or whatever,
right?
You know, you don't want to get married. If women tell a man no and it's in a public setting, that woman gets scolded. She gets called, I'm a cuss. She gets called a bitch.
Oh yeah.
She gets called heartless. She gets scolded.
I just have a question.
Okay.
Bringing it back around, not bringing it back around, but just revisiting the earlier discussion. did you know you? Well, I know you personally, so I know you don't want to get married.
Right.
I know why you don't want to get married,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you probably knew at that point you didn't want to get married to him.
Correct.
But you have your decision, so you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if he was paying attention about any time between that 3 years,
Right.
he would have known.
Oh, I
too.
said it multiple times.
Exactly.
But here's the thing: is I tell men I'm a very blunt person,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and so like when I go on dates, I'm like, "Hi, I am not looking for a relationship. I don't want one.
Yeah.
We can hang out, we can be casual. I'm probably gonna see other people, and I don't want you to talk to me a lot because I'm not gonna respond." But then men are like,
They can
"Oh,
change
it's a
it.
challenge."
Right.
Do you guys think it is okay for men to be stay-at-home dads?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's your prerogative, but it don't
Yo,
work for me.
domestic work is a lot of work. I'm a nanny. I know it damn well. It is a full-time job. If a man wants to take up that role and he can do it well, let him.
There was a study done on stay-at-home moms that they do the equivalent. The amount of work was equivalent to a salary of like $50,000 a year. Just taking care of 2 kids. That's not people with 3, 4. You know,
It
Listen.
is
it's work.
Yeah.
work.
It's work, and it's also your prerogative. I don't want to be a stay-at-home dad. I'm not saying that. Please. I don't want to be a stay-at-home dad because I don't even want to. I don't even want to change the diaper. But if
That's
I
gonna
had
change
to,
real
I
quick.
would. I mean, if I had to, I would. But I've also kind of pledged to myself a long time ago that I wouldn't have children unless I could afford to pay somebody like Kelly to take care of them.
Right.
I'm not cheap, honey.
So I know. And many of them like you are not either. Many nannies are not. And also, but I understand that. Like I understand that about myself. I don't want to be a stay-at-home dad, but it's cool. I'm not shaming anybody. I'm not shaming no other guy who wants to do that though. That's what you want to do, and
If
that's
you can
okay.
afford to,
And if it's working for your marriage and y'all are okay with that, that's your
or
business.
partnership, doesn't have to be married.
Partnership, that's all right. That's your business. That's your prerogative. I don't want to do it.
When we asked the question, is it okay for girls to play with race cars, 100% said yes.
Yeah.
But when the question was asked, is it okay for boys to play with dolls, only 90% said yes. So like with that 10%, what do you guys think? Why do you think there is that difference? If the same people are voting.
It's the same reason you posed the question if fathers should be allowed to be stay-at-home dads. I mean, the little boy who I nanny likes to play with a baby doll and likes to play dad and play family. And no one would ever ask, is it okay for moms to be stay-at-home moms? It's just that society questions males in the paternal role because that is, again, outside the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a young boy at a young age wanting to already start playing and preparing as a dad, it's uncomfortable.
And I think it's natural that you see that, like, we all know that young kids are just imitating what they see. So you imitating, like, I see that mommy's cooking. I see that mommy is doing X, Y, and Z. She's cleaning. I see dad, he's coming from work. And a lot of times when I'm, watching the kids, and if there's a little boy and a little girl playing together, they're like, the dad's like, okay, I'm going to work. And the mommy's like, well, I'm right behind you. And so it's like, why is that seen as like natural? But like, if a little boy is holding like a little baby doll, that's what he's seen mama doing. So or that's what you've seen dad doing. I mean, it's not that the dad won't, hold the baby. So I don't understand like why one is seen as it's natural and then.
And also the question I have is, I think it's great that, because if you're giving baby dolls to a girl, you're essentially telling her, not even telling her this is okay, but you're preparing her for like motherhood, how to handle a baby and this and that. Is the little boy also not going to be a father? Why is it wrong for him to know how to handle a baby or play with a baby or play with a baby doll or any of that? It's a double standard. So I think it's awesome that his parents are letting him play with or walk around with a baby doll and all of that, because it's appropriate. It's appropriate.
I will say also, they recently had gotten back from like a boys' trip at the river, and so it was the boys and their dad, and they came back, and both of the boys were playing with the baby doll, and they were both the dad. The youngest was like, yeah, when I grow up, I'm gonna marry a man. And I was like, oh, really? He was like, yeah, because then our kids can have 2 dads because dads are the best.
And you know what?
I was like, all right.
and that's different, but it's cool. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of awesome because somebody else could hear that and just, I don't know, adults, sometimes adults, and I say we because we are adults, right? We're not kids anymore, but sometimes we let the world kind of give us these jaded perversions or look. Somebody with a whole different thought could have been like him, like coming out of the closet. Well, what do you know about that? And could have like verbally reprimanded him, and it could have just really like broke him, or I don't know, you know. So that's great though that he and that was embraced though, because that you understood, like whatever he said, you understood what he was saying,
right?
And you didn't mix that up and then chastise him and say, no, boys don't marry men, men don't marry men, and there's two dads. Do you know what you're saying?
They've
sort of
met
situation.
enough of my friends that they know.
You know, but what I'm saying,
boys be with boys
but
anyways.
you do it, but you get what I'm saying though,
Because
like
it's perfectly acceptable
in the world we live in today, exactly. So.
There was a huge debate going on. Y'all know those little.
But just because he said that doesn't mean
right. Doesn't mean he's gay.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
He's just saying that he thinks having two dads in the household is cool because
yeah.
dads are cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I think that's where some adults miss the mark at when it comes down to children. They verbally beat up on children because they don't hear. They only hear. They don't listen.
Right.
There you go. You know those. What was that?
See, it was this, not me.
Oh. You know those little like toy kitchens.
Yeah.
That like I don't even know the brand. There was a huge debate going on because a woman posted a picture of her son, and I thought it was cool. Like he had like a little laundry, like a washer and dryer section, and like a little kitchen. He had a mini apartment in her living room. I was really jealous. She got so much backlash. She's like, why are you letting your little boy play with girls' toys? Number one, it's not a girl toy. Everybody needs to know how to cook and cook food because that's a survival instinct.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to know how to clean. Like that shouldn't be labeled as a boy toy or a girl toy.
Or a feminine thing.
That's you're gonna have that when you grow up. Every house and apartment has a kitchen, unless you're in Europe, because some of them don't. But you know, that's something that you need to learn. And she got so much backlash, and then. Circling back to the boys who carry baby dolls and like the girls who, you know, you're prepping them for motherhood, they're gonna be dads. And there's also the standard of when mom goes out shopping or hangs out with her friends, the dad is giving the mom a break.
Or like babysitting his own children.
No, the dad's doing his job as a father.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not just the mom that needs to only be the one watching the baby like that. And
right.
Yeah, you need to both be involved. If a couple decides, you know, whatever gender, you know, both the couple is, you know, male, female, male, male. If you want to decide to have a child, you need to have that open conversation of, okay, how are we both going to contribute to raising this child to make sure that he or she grows up to be healthy and happy, because a lot of that stuff gets overlooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning into this episode.
Be sure to follow Millennial Verses on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
And don't forget to stream every episode on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast.